Thank you. Testing. Can you hear me okay? Good, it works. Right, I think we will get underway, everybody. It's 5 past. Thank you very much indeed, everyone, for coming to this evening's event called Imagining Hope, the Future of Our Communities. Really pleased to see so many people here this evening. Unfortunately, Father Gary cannot join us this evening because of a family emergency, so you'll have to make do with me. I am ably assisted by Steve at the back. If you need to use the loo, there's one at the back down a few steps, or you can go into the parish room next door where there is another toilet in there. If you need any water, there is some at the back, but there will be a break halfway through. So first and foremost, I think it's great that we're in this church this evening. St. John's is itself a symbol of hope. During the Second World War, the church that stood here before was bombed and destroyed, and some members of the local community were killed. This church was rebuilt in its place, so it is in fact a symbol of hope, the kind of hope we're going to be talking about this evening. It was also the venue for a community meeting that happened, I think, 4 or 5 years ago during the cost of living crisis. Now, obviously, we still have a cost of living crisis, it hasn't gone away. But everyone was talking about it at the time, and many people came together like this evening and talked about what we needed to do as a community, and out of that process we had a few community cafes that were set up and other initiatives. So that's the kind of thing that we're hoping we can talk more about. What kind of initiatives like that can we do going forwards? The inspiration for this, Father Gary and I were talking back in November about the fact that so many people at the moment feel very fearful about what's going on in the world. I'm just going to make sure that doesn't go off. So there's a lot of anxiety about what's happening internationally and nationally and also in our local communities. And we're very conscious that even people who volunteer and are really involved in things are starting to feel like they want to switch off because of what's in the news all the time. And we obviously don't want that to happen. We need those people to be strong and united. So we thought it'd be good to bring everyone together to have this discussion about hope and about what we can do next. We're very conscious that there are people in the world who are trying to divide us and trying to blame the other. So we think it's really important that we bring faith groups together, people from minority ethnic backgrounds. We have Newbury Pride here this evening as well. So really important that we all meet together and have this conversation. In terms of the format this evening, there are going to be about 13 short presentations. They're only 3 minutes long. You might ask why so short, but obviously there are so many people doing great things locally, and we didn't want to restrict it to a smaller number of people with longer presentations, because then that would mean that other people were missed out. So my apologies if you find it difficult to get through what you want to say in 3 minutes. But I think it is a very good discipline for us as local community leaders to be able to do what you might have heard of an elevator pitch. You know, imagine you're in an elevator, you've literally got a few floors and you have to get across to somebody what it is that your organisation does. So I think it's useful to have this discipline to be able to summarise what it is that we do in the community. So we'll have those presentations. We're not going to have a Q&A because we could be here all evening, but we will have a break for tea and coffee and biscuits next door in the parish room. And after a short break, we will break out into an interactive session. So we'll have one-to-one conversations about what makes us anxious and makes us fearful, about what gives us hope, and then to talk about how we can work together in the future to bridge over from that anxiety to that sense of hope. So how can we network? Many of you in here this evening might know each other already, but there will be other people who you will hear from who you might even have heard of their organisation, and it will give you an opportunity hopefully to be inspired by what they have to say and hopefully make new connections with those people going forwards. And just last but not least, there is no hidden agenda from this event. There is no plan to have a new campaign or a new organisation or anything like that, because you guys are doing all of that stuff already. But it's very much about networking and how can we work together more effectively in the future. And what comes out of this evening is entirely in your hands. So I will now hand over to our first presenter. We have Claire Hegarty from BBOUT, Berkshire, Buckinghamshire and Oxfordshire Wildlife Trust, and I'm going to play a video for her.
We've had the privilege to have one of the best populations of adders across the 3 counties at Greenham and Crookham Commons, but sadly adders really are in trouble across the UK. One of the biggest threats to them is population fragmentation, where small populations can no longer mix together and therefore are at real risk of inbreeding and potentially local extinctions. So in 2023 we were lucky enough to secure funding from Natural England's Species Recovery Programme. Contractors installed 2 tunnels under a small road linking these 2 small populations back together. Trail cameras have shown that the tunnels within a couple of months had all sorts of wildlife using them, and very excitingly in spring this year we had our first adder moving through the tunnel. As far as we know, a project like this hasn't been carried out in the UK before, so it's exciting to be involved in something so innovative. We've written it up as a best practice case study as well, which has already been published. It's been really rewarding to work on a project with such tangible results.
That is the wonderful Roger Stace, who is one of our land management team, and he is the ecologist, not me, I'd like to add this evening. So it's great to see you all. I basically work in urban areas in the community across the 3 counties on projects encouraging communities to come together in their own green spaces to increase their own to increase biodiversity and improve their mental and physical well-being by spending the time outside in nature. So I was going to show you the video after I'd spoken, so I'm a bit like, hang on a minute, I need to quickly look at my notes here. So this is an amazing example of what BBOUT can do in the different communities. It is Greenham Common. It's a sensitive project about a threatened species at risk from people who don't like adders and disturbance from people trying to photograph them. So specifics on the actual location have been withheld. The community have been involved in this project through our volunteers who have been helping with habitat work around the tunnels, monitoring the trail cameras and helping with the tracking. So I hope that just gives you an idea of what we are capable of doing as a wildlife trust, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Claire. Sorry, you did say to me you wanted to speak before the video, so my apologies. So next we have Kerry Hiscock from Berkshire Youth. Just queue up your slides for you. Okay, away you go.
We've got some slides, but I might just go off piece and talk. So we've got 3 minutes. So Berkshire Youth, I'm the Youth and Community Development Manager at Berkshire Youth, supporting young people across the county, but here in West Berks through a variety of different ways. Go to the next slide. So we're probably most known for the Waterside Centre, which is a youth and community centre in Newbury. But as from April last year, we also took over the Greenham Community Centre there as well. So in our centres, we believe there are 3, it's sort of like a triangle with supporting young people. So it's about having these safe spaces, but it's also about trusted adults, which we have through our youth work teams. And it's also about those opportunities for young people. So we try and have a variety of opportunities, whether that's from youth clubs through to targeted event mentoring, one-to-one in schools. We've got a team of youth workers in all of the schools across West Berkshire. And we also believe in social action, so that's about young people really feeling a belonging in their community. So rather than following the slides, because we've got 3 minutes, we'll just tell you a little bit about some of the things that we've done over the last year, and we plan on continuing this year. We have, last year, our group of our young people decided that they really wanted to make a difference for the community. So we worked with the Willow's Edge Care Home, We met the residents, found out what was going to be really important to them. And this group of 12 young people spoke to the residents and found out that actually a lot of it was that they missed their gardens and they missed being able to get out in the gardens. And at Willow's Edge, the garden was quite uninspiring. So they spent the term planning and creating a plan of how they would make this work, and so it would fit with what the residents would really like. And then they spent the summer updating and creating this wonderful garden, which had a memory area for the residents to sit and reflect and remember those people that maybe they've lost. And there was also a sensory area with all those beautiful plants which they could come and feel, smell, look at. So that's one of the things that they really wanted to do, and they've kept that sense of community by regularly visiting the residents in the care home now. Something else we really believe in is that it's not just about young people, it's about communities, because young people on their own, it takes a village, as they say. So at Greenham Community Centre, we've now opened a community cafe, and we're trying to broaden our services to make sure that we're reaching all of those community members. So we have a community cafe on a Tuesday, 11 till 3, and through that we have lots of activities for maybe older generations who'd like to have their crafts or little games. And then we also have partners that are coming in to really support
Time's up, Kerry. Really sorry.
families as well.
Sorry. Thank you very much indeed, Kerry. And now we have David Willett, who is going to talk to us about local community cafes, and in particular Myrtle Cafe, which happens every week at St Mary's Church in Shaw. I can get it to play.
Thank you.
This one doesn't seem to want to play.
Got a couple of books there. Yes, well, you referred to it already.
Do you want to talk a bit closer to the mic? Sorry,
One
Dave.
close to the mic. There we are. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Good, fine. Yes, well, it was September 22 when we were here. You already referred to that, and we started off with the warm spaces. And we started one at St Mary's in Shaw, which we call Myrtle. More about that anon in a moment. And what we found out is that's morphed into community cafes. And in the process, if we have the next slide, it's made me think really what we mean by community, and particularly when we come together in settings like a cafe. This one goes back nearly 40 years when I was working in the People's Republic of Hackney. Halkivi in Kurdish simply means house of the people. And this was a cafe, community centre, was set up in Dalston, cheek by jowl, with the Turkish community. They were trying to kill the Kurdish leader at the time. Now they work together. It's taken 40 years, but they do. And one of the things that you already mentioned, somebody that it takes a village. What really makes a community? What does a community do? And where we are at the moment, I think, is trying to understand what communities can do with each other and how they work together. And there's people there who've got the fear of change. If I can, next slide. Could I have the next slide? Oh, that's the dentist, yes. There's two ways you can look at it. Over COVID, it was so terrible that people wanted to stay where they were, even though it wasn't very nice. The fear of change was there. And then you've got this other expression which I came across quite recently, that's Gustav Mahler. And he started to write music that wasn't like Haydn or Mozart or Beethoven. But these are his words, which I think are marvellous. Tradition is not worship of ashes, it's the preservation of fire. And I think a lot of what we're trying to do is actually pick up the things that are good and work with them in a new way. One of the things that lies behind those words there, Hesed, the symbol of myrtle, I haven't got time to go into, you can ask me afterwards about that. But what we have discovered is that there's the kindness of strangers, but also a very deep loving kindness, is what that word originally means. just things happen. It's very beautiful to watch.
30 seconds, David.
And Hadassah is the name of Myrtle. Can I have the last slide then? These are the things that we discovered together. And it's cross-generational. With the Heritage Project, I've got a cohort of young people. These are the things that we've learned together. We've got a whole castle to play with at the moment. And we've also got an eco-trail, which we're planning. So things we're doing together.
Time's up, David, sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Right, so next we have Alice Kunyapi-Clifton from Community United. If you'd like to step up to the podium.
Good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me? No. Thanks, Steve. So I'm Alice, as in Wonderland, so you won't never forget me. So Community United is an organization, a community organization that has come up through COVID, but also a lot of it is also, I have 2 children. My husband is English, and I'm from South Asia. My children don't belong. Don't belong. So don't belong. So this is what it was all about. So we started Community United to bring people together under the banner of belonging. So our hashtag is culturally better together. We started in West Berkshire, but now we are in Reading and Wokingham. Next slide, please. So, I mean, you'll see this we are a grassroots organization, and how we do things. We've got common themes. We do things through sports, food, art, music, fashion, health. So, you know, if you turn around and look at it, it's everything. Because that's what we are all common. We have the commonality. And yet, we've got diversity in itself. We've got segregation. So we are trying to bring all that together. And that's what Community United is all about. Next slide, please. You'll have this, I don't know problem. So what have we done in West Berkshire and Reading and Wokingham? So we've organized community conversations. So we started in 2021, whereby we had community conversations about belonging, what was belonging like. And then in Wokingham, we've got the Wokingham Voice of Inclusion and Diversity, in equality. We also host every year, with the help of Newbury Town Council and also Greenham Trust, a community event called One Community Cricket, which is about bridging connections. So we started with 6 teams when we first started. Now we have got 21 teams. So we're having to say, sorry, we can only have 12 kind of thing. So we're getting bigger. And then we've got cultural events. So on Sunday, if you're around, come up to Shaw House and you'll see an event called Pongal, which is harvest, a harvest festival from the communities themselves. It's a Tamil community. How many of us have got harvest in our own communities? So we know there's so many common things. And then we do...
30 seconds, Alice.
I knew that was going to be... We host Afrofest, so that's also another one cultural event. Diwali, and then we also work with Newbury Racecourse for their community event. So we come and do events there to showcase what is culture like. Next slide. So to come, our next one is we are going to be hosting a belonging exhibition, whereby, for example, we all have commonalities. There's an exhibition, it's a photograph with podcasts.
Time's up, Alice, sorry.
Yeah, I told you.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. We will make all of these slides available to everyone afterwards, so if you haven't already, please leave your email at the back. If you've signed up on Eventbrite, you don't need to worry, I've already got your contact details, and we will send you all of the slides. So if anything has been missed this evening, fear not, you will get an opportunity to have a look at that. So next we have Susan Millington, who's going to be talking to us from Friends of the Earth and the Nature Corridors and Lockdown Woods project.
Good evening, everybody. So Friends of the Earth UK was formed in 1971, and their motto was think globally, act locally. I'm sure you're all very familiar with that. So we're all aware that globally nature is in a precipitous and dangerous decline. Locally, within Newbury and Thatcham, we're aiming to actually increase biodiversity and to help nature with our project. So our project, next slide please. Yeah, this project started during lockdown in 2020 when we were working with local people to plant trees, to grow and plant trees in memorial woods, and we ended up with 5 small woods around the district. And that's sort of beginning and then having 5 years later, so they grow pretty quickly. And then as a result of that project, we're extending it and trying to link some of the lockdown woods to aid nature. So there's encouraging nature throughout the town. Next slide, please. So we've been doing this for nearly two years, really, and we've done lots of different projects, different events, working with the councils, that's district and town, and hopefully parish councils, working with schools, St Bart's, John Rankin School at the moment, and local residents, and lots of open spaces throughout the district. We're also running education talks and so on. There's one at St Bart's School we did on wildlife gardening, and we've been at various shows. We've worked with scouts, making lots and lots of bird boxes, and then that's a local resident putting one up for us. Working with the beavers, and they've put some wildflower strips in St George's Avenue. This is a local voluntary Hindu group that had helped us restore a wildlife garden in John Rankin School.
30 seconds, Susan.
And 2 ponds. And we've planted trees and bulbs and all sorts of things all around the place. And we'll be planting a long hedgerow in Wash Common on Saturday. If you'd like to join us, you'd be very, very welcome. So ongoing programme of events trying to beautify our area for ourselves and for wildlife. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much indeed, Susan. So next we have Howard Grace, who is a filmmaker, and I'm going to queue up a video for him.
Hello, I'm a Quaker, and I'm also the executive director, producer of the film The Hardest Bridge, which has emerged from 2 people's experiences after the IRA blowing up of the Grand Hotel in Brighton. The director of the film is my friend Imad Karam from Gaza, and a lot of his relatives have been killed in the bombing recently, so he has real conviction about what can happen after conflict like that. That's why he's made this film. And I'd like to finish by showing the trailer of the film. Thank you.
Tell them to get help here before we're murdered. Murdered for our 7 kids, and I don't want my kids murdered.
We held Britain culpable. They were the main protagonists of it. It was their troops killing women and children on the streets of Belfast.
I saw myself as a free spirit. But that changed. That part of me died in that bomb.
projects. I wanted to be a part of it without knowing how I could contribute, how I could fit in. And eventually that led me to join the IRA.
I never thought my dad would be a target. I lived in peacetime.
In fact, if it hadn't have been for the Good Friday Agreement and the release of prisoners, I wouldn't be due for release until 2036.
I felt quite angry. I thought, it's okay for you, you've got the rest of your life back. My dad can't come back. That's not fair, that's not justice.
The values I perceived in this woman must in some measure have come from this man. And I killed him. The IRA killed him, but I killed him. And that was a powerful disarming moment.
I thought, maybe I can make a difference in the world with this. Maybe I can bring something positive out of it. As I saw it as a choice, and the choice was to go on a journey. And it was a journey with no map, it was a journey with no name, but somehow it gave me a place from where to start.
Very powerful trailer there for the film that Howard has spoken to us about. Howard, I don't know, are there plans for it to be shown again locally? I think it has been shown in the local area once recently.
Yes, there will be other events.
Great.
A4 sheet here giving a lot more background to what's going on.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very much, Howard. I think that message of peace and reconciliation is incredibly powerful. We saw a similar situation in South Africa as well. It took incredibly brave people on both sides of the conflict to come together and be really honest with each other in order to move forward. So thank you very much indeed for that. Next we have Lee Polding from the Muslim Centre.
Good evening, everybody. Crikey, how do you follow that? That looks like an amazing film. I've got a totally set of inappropriate slides for 3 minutes. I'm going to probably wing it like a lot of other people. My name's Lee. I'm from the West Berkshire Muslim Centre. We're based at the Riverside Community Centre on Turnpike Estate. I know the community area quite well. We moved here from Reading when I was 3.5, and I'm now the wrong side of 50 by quite a way. We've been at the Riverside for about 7 years. Obviously, we're helping to serve the needs of the Muslim community, which is the last census. If you just roll to the next slide, just remind me. According to the last census, we've got about 2,100 Muslims in the area now. I myself, I reverted in about 2000. A lot of this slide, the slides I won't go through because it just, the obvious thing is we are providing prayer services for the community, but what we also get involved in, and if you can just rattle through, again, just to remind myself, and again, sorry. I'm using up all my time here. Basically what we try to do is get involved with non-Muslim other organisations. We all get involved in things like Visit My Mosque. We attend the school interfaith meetings where we get involved in presentations to the school children with other faith groups. We host events at the centre. We have the Scouts have come along. Various schools in the area have asked us to come along to present on things like Ramadan and what Muslims do to help sort of foster an understanding and any sort of like misconceptions of what the community is about. We focus on sports events as well, where again, it's not just the Muslim community we're servicing, they're open to anybody. So we have footballs at St Bart's on a Monday, we have badminton at the centre, and Alice there, the community cricket, I can highly recommend that, it's a fantastic day. And so we try and hold events and get involved in events where, as I say, it's not just our community. We try and encourage cooperation and interaction with everybody in the community. If you just rattle through I'll try and get to some photos quickly before I run out of time. So there's a list there of the sort of places that we get involved in. The fire brigade, great. I'm not sure if they're on there yet. They're on there. We've had them round at the centre.
30 seconds, Lee.
We've gone round to them as well to sort of education for the children. The West Berkshire Council, we actually rent from them, one of their places. The Clay Hill Community Association, they're based at the Riverside as well. They're a fantastic group of people. They've been so helpful to us. We rent the upstairs of the building. They look after all the downstairs of the community centre there. And they do an amazing job for the community in that particular area. And they've been really, really helpful to us.
Time's up, please, sorry. Thank you very much indeed. There's obviously lots of information in here, thank you. As I say, it will all be shared with people afterwards, so there's plenty of stuff in here for people to have a look at. Right. Next up, Pat Glover. Pat is from the Nature and Climate Network, which until recently was called West Berkshire Green Exchange. So thank you very much, Pat.
Thank you. So yes, I'm representing the Nature and Climate Network. We're here because nature loss is suffering, climate change is one of the biggest threats, inequality is increasing. Next slide, please. These are all linked to the abuse of money and power. But we've got big plans for this next year. It's based on scientific advice, so we take advice from the Climate Change Committee, who advise the UK government. We are funded by the National Lottery. We've just had some funding from Newbury Town Council as well. Next slide, please. Our main event is going to be Greenfest, which we hold in partnership with many local groups and councils. If anybody who wasn't involved last year would like to get involved, get in touch with me. I've got some leaflets with my contact details on them. Save the date, you'll definitely want to be there. It's us in Bardscool, which is a brilliant venue. Next slide, please. We also take our nature and climate stall out to lots of events, and we'll do even more this year. So we do a Newbury show, we do the Hungerford Food Market. Next slide, please. We are very concerned about sharing good quality information, so we have developed our own carbon literacy course, which is fully accredited in partnership with many local groups, hundreds of conversations. The response so far has been absolutely fantastic, including from St Bart's School. I was there this morning. Next slide, please. We also hope to keep our members connected and up to date, so we've got about 400 members. All that means is that you're signed up to our mailing list. There's no charge. We want to work more with schools to support their climate action plans, and we want to help groups with their grant applications. Next slide, please. So how can we support each other? This is the question we'll be asking over the next few months. How can we all support each other? We're all doing fantastic work, so let's not duplicate it. Let's make sure that we can be impactful as possible and to scale up what we're already doing. So those are my two personal buzzwords for this year, impact and scalability. There's lots of reasons for hope. More people care about climate change and inequality in nature than we think. Also, we don't need everyone to make change, because some people aren't in a position where they can. It only takes 1 in 4 people to make change, and we have a really important role as role models as well. Next slide, please. We've got to be realistic. We're up against money. We're up against misinformation. Next slide, please. And this is my last one. So anything we can do is worth it. Every bit of avoided warming, every bit of avoided nature loss is well worth fighting for. So as I said, we want to work together to protect what we love. And I think I finished on time.
Fantastic. That was 2.5 minutes. That's very impressive. Thank you very much indeed for that, Pat. Next we have Andrea Brooks from Newbury Pride.
has just been said. And first slide, please.
I think it's coming up.
Oh,
It's just very slow. There we go.
And next slide. In fact, if you can do the next.
Oh, yeah, because it's animated, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. I hope most people are aware of this event, which we hold in Victoria Park during the summer. This is our main Pride event, and I hope that you see yourself in some of these photos. And the next slide. Which brings the title in, so everybody can see that. This is not just for people from the LGBTQIA+ community. This is for everybody. Everybody's come along in love, in acceptance, and just come out and have a great time on this event. There's great music, there's great acts, there's all sorts of things. There's great food and drink, and if you actually want to have a stall at our event, have a look at the website. The stalls applications are open. Next slide, please. And again. But we do other things. We do a lot of things within the area. So here we've got monthly socials that we usually hold every month. Not every month because we get busy during the summer. But these are usually in local pubs. Not always pubs, but often pubs. Next slide, please. And we introduced drag bingos to Newbury. That was our fault, sorry. These are great fun evenings for everybody who's been along to these and anybody who wants to come along to them. Definitely not for the kids though. And the next slide, please. We also do a bit more serious campaigning events. As in the series of protests we actually organised during last year. Mostly in Reading, but that was just what it was. Next slide, please. We've also worked with quite a few local organisations. This is one that we did with the museum, Newbury Museum, a craft day for kids. But we also work with the Watermill Theatre, with Berkshire Youth, with others as well, and we're happy to work with anybody. Next slide, please. And when something tragic happens, we respond to that as well. This was in response to the murder of Brianna Guy the year before last, when we held a vigil in the bandstand in Victoria Park, and there was a lot of people coming along from all parts of the community. I think it was something that affected everybody. We also every year hold vigils, and we organise a film for the Transgender Day of Remembrance, remembering the hundreds of people who have died from our community.
30 seconds, Andrea.
Okay, next slide then. Which is, I think I might also be finishing fairly close to time. We also work with various local authorities, where are we? Sorry, I've lost my place where I am on this. Local authorities to help spread awareness between communities, between different people. And here we are in Thatcham at the Thatcham Family Fun Day. We're active on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and many others, as well as our website with online shop. Always ready to respond to questions and offer help and advice and signposting where necessary.
Thank you very much, Andrea.
If anybody's interested, there's a QR code at the back of the hall for a survey that we're running.
Great. Thank you very much indeed, Andrea. That was great. Fantastic. So now on to Jude Haste, who is from Rank and File Drama Group, who's done some fantastic work locally with refugees and people from minority ethnic backgrounds. So I'm going to play some photos in the background, and Jude will talk over the top. Over to you, Jude.
Okay. Hi, so I'm Jude, and I'm director of Rank and File Theatre. So we're a theatre of sanctuary based here in Newbury and Berkshire, and we make theatre with refugees and people who come from other marginalised backgrounds with visible or non-visible disability, or also, for example, survivors of abuse. And we look at the intersectionality between those barriers and our lived experiences, because often we find we tick more than one box. So our whole ethos is participant-led and community-rooted, and it's about social urgency and responsibility as a theatre maker to put forward political and social issues of our time through the lens of our participants. So why we exist? So we feel, or I feel, too many people are excluded from cultural spaces. I'm fascinated and I find it purposeful to look at how we remove barriers, and that includes language or disability or trauma-informed practice, and just bringing confidence to all of us to feel part of that cultural contribution to today's world. So our participants, some of what they have said is basically, I didn't know theatre was about the everyday, and now I realise the value of my stories. And basically, what we do campaign work, which is through film, and some of the issues are violence against women and girls. We've looked at climate, migration and displacement, and public health also. We've looked at knife crime. We work with different councils, such as Haringey Council, in some of the estates where knife crime is particularly prolific. And our practice is really about that intersectionality, as I've said, and accessibility. So how we work, we want to make theatre accessible, as I've said to everyone. We are fascinated in that creatively as well. So we look at audio description, BSL, and visual storytelling in a way that all of our participants write the work and we bring that together. So we have pathways in LAMDA, which is the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, and people can go and qualify in speech and drama or public speaking. And we basically keep the power with the people that are making those stories. And that's where the motive comes from always. So our impact, some of our work has been film-based, and we've done in sort of international premieres online during lockdown to about 10, 12 countries. We were awarded the Theatre of Sanctuary Award, and then the Diversity Champions Award in What's on Reading in 2025.
30 seconds, Jude.
And basically, our call to action is, we just want to collaborate. And so if you're working with communities facing barriers, come and talk to me. We co-create, we listen, and we build long-term relationships. This is about long-term engagement, and let's use theatre to engage, empower, and influence change. So come and talk to me after. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed, Jude. And I can vouch for the fact that the play that you've just seen, the slides, was absolutely fantastic, really, really inspiring. So now I'm going to go over to Anna Barrett from St Bart's, who works in sustainability. I'll just load your slides up, Anna.
I'm Anna, and I'm the sustainability lead at St Bart's. We take sustainability really seriously at Bart's, which I think is best evidenced by the fact that my role exists. I am the only full-time sustainability lead at a non-private school that anyone has ever heard of. Can you go 2 slides ahead? So some of the things that we do at school, one more, sorry. Thank you. Some of the things we do at school include clubs. I run Kintsugi Club, based on the Japanese philosophy that something is more beautiful for having been broken, where we glue back together smashed pottery and paint it gold. We darn socks and get up to all sorts of other hijinks. I also run Guardians of the Living Realm, where we go outside and look at the nature on our doorstep. There's also the Horticult, where I do horticulture with students for around 2 hours a week. We've also done art competitions, carbon literacy training, a wildlife calendar, an advent calendar, a Christmas jumper swap, and much, much more. Can you please go back to? This is very well planned. Much of this would not have been possible without the local community. These sorts of community events like this one here today are so important, and they fundamentally work. As you can see, St Bart's has benefited from at least 8 of the organisations that have spoken here today, and many more who aren't in this room, or who even maybe are. Given this, I've given it a lot of thought, and I think it's best to just be blunt and see if anything strikes a chord and move from there. So if you go 4 slides forward, maybe
back 4.
3.
Back 3.
This is great, guys.
That was the first one.
Okay, sorry. Forward.
Forward.
There we go.
Okay.
So here's what we need as a school. Funding, our budget is incredibly tight and we can't do all that we want. We need volunteers who are willing to share their time and skills. We need connections to relevant people and organisations. We need real-world projects for students to feel connected to. We need practical resources like gardening tools. And we need examples of green skills and careers for students to aspire to. Next slide, please. And here's what we can provide as a school. Hopefully some of this is landing with someone. We can provide a gathering space for events, an audience through assemblies, volunteers through students who can get involved in projects, a research pool for you to gather data, a bridge to the local community with around 5,000 stakeholders, ideas and creativity which students are endless pools of. I think that's it.
Fantastic. 2.5 minutes. Oh, yeah. It's between you and Pat. Thank you very much indeed, Anna. That was fabulous. There's some really great stuff happening locally. So now we are over to David Marsh, who I think is going to ad-lib for us rather than have any slides.
Thanks very much. Well, you've heard about cuts to local government, and I don't even have any slides. But here we go. Caroline asked me to say a few words about how we reopened Wash Common Library as a community library. In 2015, the then leadership of West Berkshire Council embraced George Osborne's catastrophic austerity policies and decided to close all but one of the 9 libraries in West Berkshire. Caroline and Steve Masters and I started a movement called Save Our Services, which quickly attracted a lot of support from different political parties, different individuals and groups right across the district. And that was fairly successful. In the end, only one library got closed. Unfortunately, it was my local library in my ward, Wash Common. So we decided in the community locally to see if we could reopen it. And we had a number of public meetings. There was a lot of support for it. Locally, there were people volunteering, what can I do, what can I do? We started to raise money. We had people who had expertise in the field of running libraries, because there were people who'd been sacked by West Berkshire to save money, who'd worked in libraries. We raised the money. We started negotiation with West Berkshire to take the premises over, and eventually, after a lot of wrangling, we got a lease with a peppercorn rent, which had just expired actually, but hopefully they're about to reopen it for another 5 years. And we were able to relaunch the library pretty much 2 years to the day after it closed. And I can remember quite vividly, and I've got photographs of it which I should have brought, but when that library closed, it felt really, really depressing. I was so sad, and I went there with my young son, as he was at the time, and thought, what a future are we building for these people if we can't even keep open our local libraries. And of course, there are many libraries closing right across the country. The joy when we reopened it 2 years, almost to the day later, was absolutely fantastic. And talking of hope, I didn't have much hope when we started this campaign, but by the time we'd finished, it just really was inspirational. Now the library is offering more than it ever did with West Berkshire. We have a lot of community events, book club, poetry club, toddler groups meet there. We've had Spanish lessons there. It's just a really thriving community-based library, and although I want to see local authorities continue to provide these services, it's probably better than it was because we've actually put more into it. I'm going to finish with a quotation which I used at the very first public meeting we had at Save Our Services, which was something at the time I felt was inspirational, and it's a quote from a lady called Hetty Bauer, who lived to be 108. She was a suffragette, and then she helped to found the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament and lots of other bodies. Amazing woman. And she said, we must fight. We may not win, but if we don't fight, they will always win. And we did fight that one, and we won it. They didn't. And that's a theme that I think connects everyone in this room. When we see what's going on in society, when you see what some of the politicians are coming out with, you've got to fight it, and we are fighting all in different ways. I know many people in this room are all from different groups. There's a lot of crossover between them, and all in our different ways, with our different interests, areas of interest, we're all working together to fight for the communities that we live in and serve, and for our country, really. So
Time's
it's
up,
very
David,
inspirational to be here, and thank you, Caroline.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, David.
And in the absence of a slide, there's our logo. There you go, Wascombe Library. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you very much indeed, David. And now, last but not least, we have Vicky Lambourne from Winchcombe Care Home.
Thank you. I too don't have any slides, but we do have leaflets to give to you at the end. So we have created at Winchcombe Place Care Home a project called Generations of Change, which in essence is about bringing the older generation together with the younger generation to teach them about sustainability. There are so many people that certainly we've seen from Winchcombe Place Care Home that care a lot and have got so much knowledge to share. So we have paired up primarily with Winchcombe School, which is directly next door to us, to do talks on climate change. Very basic, because it is dementia friendly as well, so people living with dementia be able to do these lesson plans, as well as primary age children. We go on nature walks, we look at weather patterns, we've planted seeds and grown our own fruit and vegetables that have not very successfully sometimes, admittedly, but we've tried. We've also paired up with Brazil. And so we did a project with Brazil. We did a live link, and Claire was with us for that. We did a live link to Brazil where we had 800 school children, and also there was about 200 people from Brazil that joined us for that as well. Where between us, over last year, we collected over a ton of rubbish from litter picks around the local community and obviously in Brazil. And we've also fundraised to plant nearly 2,000 trees in Brazil as well. So it's a lovely project, and the residents and certainly the children from the school get very excited. It's given residents a sense of purpose. It's given children, and quite rightly, what today is about, a lot of hope for the future. Certainly seeing some of the conversations that are happening at the moment, it's heartwarming. It's heartwarming to see that a lot of these projects that are happening, very basic projects, we're certainly not changing the world with what we're doing, but just to see them having conversations and getting excited about it certainly is making a difference. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. Well, that was great. Thank you very much indeed, everyone. Sorry it was a bit of a gallop through, but I hope that's given you a bit of inspiration, and hopefully there are some people who you want to reach out to and connect with around your various causes that you're interested in. We have hopefully recorded all of the presentations. Father Gary is the technical one amongst us, so hopefully that's worked, and we will share that with you. As I mentioned, we will also share all of the slides with you as well, unless any of the presenters don't want us to do that, but I'm sure you've got nothing to hide. So that will go out to everyone, and if you want to share those with members of your own organisations, with family and friends, please do feel free to do that. That would be great. So we're now going to have a short break, about quarter of an hour, 20 minutes. We will be serving tea and coffee and squash and biscuits in what we call the parish room next door. So you go to the end and then you take a right and then another right, and you will be very ably assisted by our friends Jade and Christopher, who are going to be doing the refreshments. And then we will have an interactive session where we'll have one-to-one conversations about our concerns and our anxieties, what it is that gives us hope, and also what we think we could do in the future to work together to bridge that gap between anxiety and hope. And I think that will be a really, really fruitful conversation. We're going to get you to write on some post-it notes. We're going to slap them up on the wall and collect all of your thoughts, and then we will bring all of that together and we will share that with you after the event as well. So as I said before, it's very much in your hands. Make the most of this. All I would say when you do the interactive exercise, try not to sit opposite somebody who you know already. Try to use it as an opportunity to meet people that you haven't spoken to before. Great, so please do go and grab yourself a cup of tea or coffee, and we'll start again in about 20 minutes' time. Thank you. In the parish room, yes, yeah. Yeah, we might have a few people at the back here. We're just going to make sure everyone's spread out.
This is why I get really tired now. I am interested in speaking to
to do with the swap.
That's all right. No worries. Should we go and get a couple first? Yeah. Where should we mention it? Please.